Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. How you doing today, Brother Lawrence?
I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, doing good. Just ready and glad to have this barbershop talk here. and about on my first pre-recorded video I did, your track record is who you are. I guess we'll start off first off. What did you think of it so far?
um, as far as it goes for track record, and I know you use Abraham, which is
Yes.
absolutely a good choice. I mean, he's the first one out the gate, to be honest. And as I've said many a times before, he's the only one the Most High ever called friend. Um,
Yes, that
uh,
is
uh,
correct.
but the thing is that if you look throughout the entire book, everybody's been tested, everybody's been proven, everybody's got to
Right.
show receipts. So yeah, I definitely agree with you with the direction you went. And I definitely agree with Abraham being the one to choose to do it. Absolutely,
Yeah.
because I
Uh,
don't think there's been anybody else um, that I can recall on the level of that faith and commitment to the Most High.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I chose him because of the testament, the level of test that God put before him to prove his commitment and to prove that he is what he said he would be. Um, you know, to that being the final mark of his track record. Um, because of the simple fact, of having him go through almost all the way to the end there with sacrificing his son and now the only son that was in his care. So that was very instrumental and very monumental to show how even with being tasked with this, he had not forgotten the promise that God had given to him.
Hmm.
I think that was the main thing to me because
Yeah.
most people, being tasked with this, they would already have forgotten about the simple fact that he had already told him that that through his son Isaac, that his lineage will become blessed in a mighty nation, and that all other nations of the earth will be blessed through him. So,
Yep.
for him to be hit with this deeply emotional test, and then to never forget that promise. That's why I chose him for this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, there was a particular point when you were reading the scripture itself where it made a comment on something that caught me real good, in which it was that the sacrifice of Isaac was uh, sacrificing a son that was actually promised to him
Yes,
by the Most High Himself,
yes,
and you think to yourself, you know, even when it comes to quote unquote gifts or blessings that the Most High gave you, he has every right, if he so decides, to take them back.
right.
And,
But yeah,
but again, where he works, generally, there's always something far greater.
yes,
And then when Abraham is literally ready to do the deed, the Most High stops him point blank. Is like, you were willing to do this for the very child I promised you. Yeah, like I said, there's a reason Abraham's the only one called friend. There's a
yeah.
reason.
Right. And the other thing is too, when Isaac is questioning him, and he said, "My son, God will provide for Himself a lamb for the burnt offering," in verse 8.
That's true. Yes, that's correct.
So the thing too is to take into account is the simple fact that he never forgotten this promise
Hmm.
of that through his son, through this promised son, through Isaac, his lineage would be blessed.
Yep.
So I mean, so he's never forgotten, so he knows it. Okay, all I just got to do is go through it. It's not a question of if he's going to provide a sacrifice, it's when he's going
Yep.
to provide another sacrifice.
Hmm. And that brings us to the patience of the saints.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, he made a promise. You have to be patient for it.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is so many times we look at people that the problem with individuals is that they're so focused on the problem that they can never see that there's going to be a way out of the problem. But
Oh,
Abraham
absolutely.
already knew, even though he couldn't see what the way out was going to be, but he knew that there was going to be a way out because he had
Yeah,
already promised to him the simple fact of that, you know, through Isaac, your lineage is going to be blessed in other nations of the earth as well through him.
yes.
So, he never doubted that because of the simple fact. I mean, God had already keeping his track record on his promises already.
Well, yeah, this
So,
is true. This is true.
so there was no reason to doubt that. Because Isaac being his only son of promise, so there was never a reason to actually even doubt it in his mind, which just speaks to the wisdom of his understanding. Being able to see being able to see that this test is being put on him by the Lord. It is really a riddle in a way. All he had to do was remember back to the promise that was originally given to him by the Most High, and just remember that. So there would be no reason for him not to go through to the point to where God wanted him to go through too.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are the pieces that are missing in today's mentality when it comes to prayer and deliverance, because we know the promises that were made, but whenever we get to that point, that faith to back up the remembrance of those promises are never there. It's a situation where you well, first of all, as we talked about on one of your other streams, the Most High is not a genie, so stop making wishes.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's the first thing. But in situations where it's really really a heartfelt prayer and request, which is possible if you do it properly,
Right.
and for the right reasons, but you do it and then you sit there, and instead of waiting for him to show you the way or to let you know what's possible, um, you you decided after a certain point in time, I'm going to do it myself and figure it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just the faith is not there to back it up. That's I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think the other thing is too, when you equate it to people of today, the one thing you have to decipher from this is that Abraham was chosen for a specific and greater purpose than what most individuals are going to be called for.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So let's look at that in the sense that, okay, you or me, ain't no sense of there is no promise that I'm gonna have a son in a lineage of people, and that lineage through him is gonna be blessed beyond immeasurably. You know what I'm saying? So I think the first thing to take out of that is the simple fact that most people overvalue themselves arrogantly.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're trying to put yourself on the level of an Abraham or a David, that's the first place you're messing up, anyways.
And realistically speaking, that's the hubris of many men, and I would dare say every man's had that moment once in his life.
Yes, every human has. I would probably say yeah.
Well, yeah, every human, yeah. But I generally would, every human, has that moment, has had that moment, if not many. And it's a difficult thing to get past, because that goes back to leaning upon your own understanding, which we're not supposed to.
Right. Which is why, I said, the thing is, the reason why I said human is because of the simple fact, when you brought up my previous study session on God is not a genie. Because of the simple fact that, I mean, in truth, who is it often we've seen using God as a genie? Women. Now, it may be men like your your prosperity and wealth teachers, that you have that you've seen on TV, that
Oh
practice
yeah,
teaching that to them, but
yeah,
it's usually women that you see practice actually trying to live that way. Which is why, you know, that was, even though this challenge for men is directed to inform these men that, you know, you see these, so these are individuals that you need to steer clear of.
well, absolutely, because I mean I can't say all churches, but I know growing up, like I said, being, you know, coming from a Baptist family into a Hebrew one,
Mm-hmm.
I do know that when it came to black Christian churches that I knew growing up, that's who it was. It was the women more than it was anybody. It really was. And for once, I'm not trying to pick on women. I'm just saying that's what I saw. That's what I've seen.
Right.
I mean,
And
they use it like a genie. They use it like a genie for everything, even for some of the most innocuous things that make no sense to even be asking for. It's just,
right.
it was weird growing up watching that.
And to be honest, I know we've seen it so much more with, as far as, you know, black churches, because I mean, let's be real. I mean, we are black, but it also happens with white churches. And the proof in the pudding of the example is in motivational speaker Joel Osteen.
Good, yeah, good point. Good point.
Because they're playing on the emotions of women. I mean, I mean, let's be real. I mean, let's be real about it. They're playing on the childish emotions of women.
Yeah, I completely forgot about him because he's up there with TD
Yeah, he's up there in Creflo Dollar, all them.
Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about him. I forgot all about him. As a matter of fact, wasn't he the one who wouldn't open the church for sanctuary and shelter?
Yeah, whenever they had the flooding because of the hurricane, he wouldn't open it for sanctuary shelter, you know, pass out food and nothing like that to the public. Mm-hmm. But now shortly after that, he opened it for Kanye West to have a concert there.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah. They call those super churches, right?
Yeah, whatever they want to call them, you know.
Yeah, super churches or something like that. Yeah, but I completely forgot about him. But yeah,
I just call them crooks, but it is what it is.
It's fair enough. It's fair enough.
Yeah.
And you know, but I mean, using that example plus what I saw growing up, and I could be wrong in this analogy, but between not teaching proper prayer, between not teaching scripture in the proper way, and then the women being in the church for the most part running it, and feminism being involved, I see people like Osteen, Dollar, and Jakes. They're the new version to me, in my mind, of dating coaches.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Hey, they spiritual dating coaches. Yes, sir.
No, I'm serious.
I'm not saying you're not serious, but I'm laughing because it is funny, because sometimes something can be so true and profound that it's funny to me. I mean, that's perfect. That's a perfect analogy.
Because if you look at their shows when they're talking to their congregation or their audience, first of all, 90+% is women. That's the first thing.
Oh yeah,
the second thing is when you listen to them talk, it's no different than listening to Steve Harvey.
Yeah, dating coaches and old time snake oil salesman. All that rolled into one, boy. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So like I said, for me, when I look at them now and I listen to them, I got to be honest. All you have to do is switch faces. It could just as easily be Steve Harvey or one of the other guys.
Yeah. Hey.
So to me, the church is the new dating app, and the pastors are the new dating coaches. And like I said, I could be wrong for that, but that's just the way I see it.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And the other thing to take away from it is the simple fact that these so-called pastors, they are serving up a buffet line of the scripture.
Yes.
So you can just pretty much go around and pick. Well, I want that. Okay, I don't want that. I'm gonna leave that there. But I want this over here. I want this. I don't want that. I don't want that. Which is it's just false.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Which brings us back to the teaching you did on Abraham about showing and proving, or as we like to say in a secular term, receipts.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
yeah,
and
the track record.
Exactly. Your track record, your receipts. So in all we're seeing really is no true path of receipts of anybody they've helped. The only receipts we see is how they're living, which
Right.
is houses, cars, planes, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
those receipts mean, and at the end of the day, those receipts mean nothing, to be honest with you.
Right.
The only time those receipts matter is if not to speak on him when he's not here, but it's just an example. When you when you have MOT who
Okay.
can show you that as an owner operator he's done this, that, and etc. and so on. Those receipts are needed because when he goes to teach somebody else, he needs them to be comfortable knowing that he knows what he's talking about.
Right.
That's the only time receipts like that matter, and it's the only time they should.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and that goes for him, me, you, anybody else. But the only receipts these guys are showing, like I said, is the fact that they've got quote unquote wealth. And again, as we've already stated, well, not we, but Yahweh Shai or Jesus has
Yeah.
stated, you know, a man with riches can't get into heaven. So what's the point?
Right. Right. No. Yeah.
And
Well, I think.
especially if you're not using it properly.
Well, I won't say no. He said he didn't actually say they can't, but it's hard.
Right.
It's
Right.
hard because the problem is that they value the money,
Material things.
the material things so much more. But now, I mean, if you're of a mindset of this is just what's needed, because this is what's needed to get by in this world, which is, you know, without a doubt, you don't actually there is no how do you want to say a worship of the material, but you understand that it's needed for you to be able to make do in this world. You know,
Yep.
that's the difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, even if you look at the 619 laws of the mitzvah, which are in Deuteronomy, Numbers, Leviticus, etc., and so on, you know, there's a breakdown on stuff like that. There are reasons where when the Most High blessed you with land and good crops and etc. and so on, He's got it set for a portion of it to go to widows and orphans.
Right.
There's reasons that when you're reaping your harvest, if anything falls on the ground, don't pick it up. Leave it for the beasts of the field or for the widows and orphans or the poor who come in, you know, and may need to have that. You know, he does, you know, he blesses you with riches, wealth, and success, but it's not meant in the sense to be hoarded. I
Gotcha.
mean,
Right.
no matter what you look at or how you break it down, you'll never see anything in there where he has you hoarding. It's not his thing, and it's not supposed to be ours.
Right. It's one thing to hold to have to prepare. I don't think I think the problem with hoarding is not the hoarding itself. It's the why.
Yeah, because
It's the
see
why.
because the way it breaks down is that you're supposed to keep and maintain so you and your family are always well taken care of. There's also a portion of it where you always supposed to have something to pass down to your children and their children's children. But again, that does not remove the obligation that if you, like the saying goes, for those what's the phrase? For
Well, he
those who
who
have
can be
been,
trusted with a little can be trusted with a lot.
that's one, but the one I was thinking about is to those who are given much, much is required.
Required. Okay.
If I'm remembering it properly, um, or something like that. I may be paraphrasing, but yeah. So I mean, you know, and like I said, it's not that receipts are not about showing what you've acquired. Receipts is about showing how you use it. To me,
Manage it.
yeah, management, yeah, because you know, good stewards and all that.
Right.
You know, so I could sit here and I can hoard every single banana in the world, but if I've got people who need bananas and I'm not doing nothing with it, that's
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and that's why I said the reason is not the problem isn't the hoarding, it's the why. Because when you look at what was it was it I no it was Joseph's youngest son. And when I speak of Joseph, I'm actually talking about no, Israel,
Okay.
son Joseph. Yeah, his son Joseph.
Mhm.
Whenever he became counselor and second pretty much to Pharaoh, and he was having to hoard and store everything. everything that was needed for food and whatever else because of the plague that was coming. That's why I said the why is the
Yeah.
reason that matters. Because that, I mean, and the why is the reason why when God said, when not God, but Jesus said that it's not money that's evil. It's the love of it that is the problem. Is
Yeah.
what he was
Yeah.
alluding to.
So
But
yeah.
the money itself isn't.
Yeah. So bottom line. So bottom line, it's the same as everything else. It's about intent.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's about it. Yeah. It's definitely about intent. But like you said, you know, even the Most High is favored, which is Abraham. Um, like I said, receipts still had to be, you know what I'm saying? Receipts still had to be given, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's the only one he's ever called friend, but
Yeah.
he
Ooh.
still made him provide receipts. You know what I mean?
It's oh gosh, it's dang.
And vice
But
versa.
I guess, but whenever he speaks of favored, the, even though Abraham he called friend, favored to me is Job as well as Lot. And Lot for the simple fact of he told Abraham to leave everybody behind. But Lot of his own volition is like, hey, look, wherever you go, Unc, I'm going with you.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
he showed Lot favoritism because of that own, because of the respect and love that he had for Abraham. That even when Abraham was told to leave everybody behind, and he's seeing him leaving, wherever you go, I'm going.
Well, here's the thing. You're not wrong, but it's just in my mind, I look at being favored and being a friend slightly different. I
Gotcha.
mean, I know they cross over into things. Like, for instance, like, okay, all of us, you know, everybody that I've met through you and all that good stuff, you know, some of them I favor more than others. There's no
Mm-hmm.
question to it. And then there's the opposite end where they're favored, and then you and certain others I actually call friend.
Okay. Yeah. No.
So
No.
so
I
so
get
so
it. No.
so
I was
so
just
so so
right.
yeah, so to me, I mean, it doesn't mean I won't do for either. It's just that some
Right.
are more important to me, and I get that. I do get that falls in the favored, but for some reason, being called my friend as opposed to someone favored
I see what
is
you're
is
saying.
is
It's
different.
different. Oh, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. Yeah, I understand that it is different. It is different. It's a different type of relationship.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that's the one thing that that I take away from it, and especially with Lot, even though Lot was naive.
Well, the beauty about Lot is that Abraham was called.
He wasn't
He wasn't. He just did
right.
it on blind faith.
Yeah, he did
I
it.
mean, literally on blind
I won't
faith.
say blind, but he knew. He just knew and understood how important Abraham had been to him, and
Yeah.
he was like, "Hey, if he leaving, he ain't going without me."
Right. But think about this though. When he made that decision to follow his uncle, he just knew his uncle was leaving. Now imagine
Right.
this. Imagine if Abraham turned around and told him, "Well, I'm leaving because the Most High told me that I need to go." It could have worked one or two ways. Lot could have looked at him and said, "Most High, who is that? You lost your mind. Are you gone crazy?" But he didn't.
Right.
He
No,
didn't.
he
He's
didn't.
like
Wasn't it?
he's like, okay, my uncle said that the true God has told him to go. No, nothing else but Abraham's word,
Right.
and he followed that blindly,
Right.
without any proof, because the Most High wasn't speaking to him, you
Right.
know.
Yeah,
So,
he told him to even leave his father and all his
mhm,
relatives behind.
yep, yep,
But Lot was like, "Nope, you ain't leaving me behind."
yeah. So I mean, so there's something to be said about Lot too. I mean,
Exactly. There is.
yeah,
That
that's
that's a lot to be said. That's a lot to be said there.
like I said, whether it was for whether he believed his uncle or not, it made no difference. His faith in it as a whole, um, was pretty impressive. I
Yeah.
mean, to be honest with you, I mean, my uncle's leaving. He don't know where he's going. He don't know where he's going to land. He's telling me he's following the voice of the true God that only speaks to him. That's a lot of faith.
Yeah,
That's a lot of
it
faith.
is.
That's a lot of faith to go, you know what, Unc, man, I'm not, everybody else might be thinking you're crazy, but I'm going to follow you. That's just all there is to it. That's a
That
lot of
is a
faith.
lot.
That's a lot of faith with no proof of nothing. You're talking about me just going straight out with nowhere to land. We don't know where we're going. That's a lot of faith, man. So I give Lot some serious props on that.
Yeah, without a doubt. That is it is a lot. It's and it's something that you can't take for granted. Um his his faith is what he saw in Abraham to want to go even though he wasn't called to. That speaks a lot of him.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
Um which is why I thought I guess this has been the past couple weeks have been Abraham. It's so much to take and to be able to learn from here, to be able to that we can to take this information and be able to apply it to our everyday lives in Abraham's story.
Well, Abraham should be first, because realistically speaking, without him, there would be nothing. And
Mm,
and and to be quite frank, like the saying goes, you got to know where you came from, you know, to
yeah.
know where you're going. You know, and like I said, Abraham in this respect is the foundation. Because remember, before Abraham, Adam, Cain and Abel, Methuselah, Noah, the
Mhm.
whole 9 yards. But he didn't think about making a covenant with anybody until Abraham came along. So, I mean, just saying.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And like I said, I keep bringing the point home because it's so important for people to understand. It is the only person in Scripture the Most High calls a friend.
Yeah. That is something to take from it. That is very
You know,
important to note
I mean,
that
he's
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 the only
called
one.
Yeah, he's called other people favored. He's called other people blessed. He's called other people men after his own heart. But he's never, ever called anybody a friend except Abraham.
Yeah. That is very
And
important
like,
to take away.
and like I said, I got a lot of people that, like I said, they're favored to me, but only a
Hmm.
friend I would spend the day with. You know what I
I
mean?
got you. Yeah.
Just,
No,
just,
I
just
get it.
sitting around talking. That's why I think it's different in my head.
Yeah,
Uh,
I get it. I understand that. It makes sense. It really does.
like I said, looking at it in today's world, though, the importance of all this is again the thing with the receipts, because if the Most High requires, and here's the interesting part, the Most High required receipts of both himself and Abraham.
Hmm.
He required receipts from Abraham to prove that level of faith that he's worthy of the blessings that he's going to give, and at the same time, he required receipts of himself to show Abraham, I
Hmm.
can do these things, and here they are. You know,
Got you.
I gave you a son. I saved you from the Pharaoh. I've done this. I've done it. I mean, it was receipts on both sides, and that's that kind of goes back to the MOT example I gave, and examples you and I use when we talk. Having receipts to go out and help people is cool, but those people who want that help from you have to show receipts that they're worthy of getting it and that they're going to work for it as well.
Yeah, true. True.
So based on what you said earlier about having receipts, yes, it's required on both sides.
Yes,
Both sides.
it is required.
Because if you just go out there and give it to anybody and everybody willy nilly, you're not being a good steward.
Yeah,
And
true.
like you said on many occasions, how does that look when you just spent 3 to 6 months teaching somebody and they're not following through? And like I said, as you said many times, time is the one luxury we cannot get back.
Exactly.
We can buy a new TV. We can make more money somehow, some way. But time, once it's gone, it's gone. That's a wrap.
Exactly. Exactly. It's the
So,
one luxury that you can't afford to waste.
yep.
That it is.
Yep.
Well, I
So,
think I think we've had a great barbershop talk on this, on the subject of Abraham and your track record being who you are. Your commitment.
well, can I ask a question?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So knowing all this and everything we've discussed, And right now I'm speaking about men right now,
Gotcha.
especially our people. So how do we go about being the type of person who has those things and stand firmly in the faith of them? Because we can talk about having receipts, all day, every day, but the question is how do you become the type of man who who has good receipts? Because don't get me wrong, there's receipts for good and bad. So
Okay, yeah.
I guess the
Okay,
question
yeah.
is
Your track record.
yeah,
Here's
yeah,
the thing.
building a good track record, I guess is what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. Um, this is how I apply it to myself. I'm not a liar or a thief.
Mm-hmm.
So because I don't steal, I don't hang around liars and thieves like that.
Okay.
So the first thing is, no matter what anybody says, who you surround yourself is a reflection of who you are.
True. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Like the saying goes, the top 5 people pretty much explain who you are.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And so, I mean, because if that's what those people do, that's what you do.
mm-hmm.
And it's what you do that defines you. I mean, that's the only way to know whether your track record is good or bad. What you've done.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I know there are some brothers out there who have bad track records. They do.
Yes.
And being fair and open about it. I used to be one of them.
Right.
Um,
Right. I got you.
but for a lot of them, they can't imagine or visualize a way out, or they think it's way too much work than is required,
Or it's
or they're
not as
capable.
fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's number one.
And they get locked in the quagmire of not being able to get out because it's either too much fun, too much work to do, etc. and so on. Or some who've just given up hope altogether. We have those as well. Because I've met a lot of people who feel that after everything they've done, there's no way for them to be forgiven. There's no way for them to get back on the right track. And I try to explain to them, I've been there, I've done that, and they can be done. So it's hard work. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
And you're
that's the
working.
thing for me. I don't know about the giving up hope thing. For me, I think it's just a simple fact of trying to actually do the work. It's too daunting, or doing the work and living that life, it's not as fun. It doesn't look as glamorous as what they were doing before. I think those are the two things. I think
Well,
it
no,
truly comes down to just those two things for me personally.
well, I mean, like I said, I can't disagree with you. I've met people that fit both of those, but I've also met people who honestly believe they're beyond redemption, and therefore they don't think they need to. They feel there's nothing to even try because they can't do it. Because they don't think they'll ever be forgiven. I've met a lot of people like that, unfortunately.
And see, to me, that just means that they really don't want to. They don't want to actually change. That's what it means to me. They don't want to be better.
It could be. I mean, like I said, I don't live in their head. It could be. I mean, you
Yeah.
could be right. I mean, you could absolutely be right. I can't say yay or nay to that. So, but I guess for me, I try to explain as best I can that it requires work, and that's something that really scares me a lot about us as men. This fear of 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 wanting to do the work. Whether it's more fun or not is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that it seems like everybody just wants to take the easy path, and the easy path is generally the one, like you said, that's more fun. So,
And the other thing is too, most people that you're talking about like that, I mean, I'm gonna be real. They don't want to do it because of the simple fact they're the type of people that only want to do what they want. If you tell them what they want to hear.
yeah. I've run across that. Yeah, I've run across that.
Yeah, I think that's your 98% right there. The people, it's got to be what they want to hear. I mean, if it's something that's real and that they need to look at in the most truthful way, and it's ugly, oh, they don't want to hear that.
Well, yeah.
They don't want to hear that actual truth.
Yeah.
They don't want to look at themselves in the mirror to where they have to actually change something that, even though it's ugly. Hey, look, I mean, there's people that's been in worse than this, so hey, I can get through it. It's gonna take some work. It's gonna take a lot of cloning. Well,
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna get a lot of scars, burns, or whatever to get through it. But hey, I'm willing to do it because I'm tired of I'm tired of what I'm doing now. But
and that's what, yeah, and that's why I think for a lot of us in this space, whether common sense, scriptural knowledge, or just secular, whatever. But
right,
I think a lot of us in this space um, are blessed in the sense that we've figured it out, regardless of what age we are, because we got some of us who figure it out late, like myself. We got some young brothers who are figuring it out right now at 18, 19. But it's we're I don't know the word I'm looking for because I don't want to say elite because we're not. But we're special in the sense that we fall into a percentage, a very small one, unfortunately, who who have figured this out, who have come to understand about building those receipts, building that reputation, building that knowledge base to be of not importance, but quality, because I don't want to use value. People of quality that that others can look to, or that we can help, or or associate with ourselves, for that group you surround yourself with.
Gotcha.
So I think we're very blessed in that respect when it comes to that.
Yeah, I do too.
Hey, what's up, Bagon?
Yeah, you done talked him up.
Yeah, I see, I
Yeah,
see. But yeah, but like I said, I think, like I said, whether you believe or don't believe, I think using Abraham as an analogy and looking at how he walked, it would do well for all people
yeah,
to take a good look at.
yeah,
Emulating, perfection is not going to come because nobody's perfect.
right,
But if you make every day an attempt to try,
right.
I think it's a worthy goal.
Yeah, I do as well. And like I said, I made this channel. I wanted, for men to be able to, because of how we think, to be able to use the book to bring out the pragmatic aspects of it that aren't taught, of how you can actually apply it to your everyday life and how you move throughout life, how you think, and how you can use this information to change you for the better, to change your life for the better, just by making better decisions and looking at things in a better way.
Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah.
But like I said, finding a way to teach brothers, and like I said, sisters too, if possible. But like I said, my primary focus and responsibility is men. But finding a way to teach brothers how to take that first step and follow through.
Yeah.
Um, it would be something really really beautiful to be able to do.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It is something. It is something. But well, I guess if that's all, if no one's we got nobody else to add or nobody else for any questions, you got anything to add before we close this down?
Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you are so willing, you can donate to Cash App at $ tip Eisen Sama. And other than that, as always, hashtag men first.
All right. I appreciate everyone for coming out and listening. I'll be I do have another channel that I'll be doing stuff on, doing information and content on. A matter of fact, what, before we get out of here, what I'll do is I will put that in the chat. It's where pretty much, where we go through the nerd content and entertainment for guys, gaming, anime, comics, all of that good stuff. So hold on. So what we so that's what we go through there. We have these discussions And matter of fact, we had one yesterday. We actually did a movie review of the latest animated Superman movie, Man of Tomorrow. We'll be doing more stuff like that, and actually we'll be reviewing Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons actually next Saturday. So here's the link. You guys come through there that love that type of entertainment, and we'll have a discussion on that. But all I got after that, is be safe, be mindful, be aware, and be blessed. Peace.
Shalom.